So the engineer said just put everything on the 06, so they didn't hold anything back. So the 06 is basically a factory engine. Oh yeah, welcome to DocWob TV. No idea what episode it is. This is a feature on the RM250AF, which is the RM250 two-stroke motor, which we grafted into a modern RMZ chassis. So it took a bit of time. We had it on display at Foxhill and Farleigh, and then I'll show you around it now. So this is the 2019, I didn't realise they made these in 19, but you check the VIN number, she's a 19. So I thought they made them for 2020 onwards, but who knew? So it's a 2020-2019 chassis with a 2006 RM250 two-stroke engine grafted in. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't the hardest one I've ever done either. So we didn't have to cut the frame cradle. So the chassis kept the integrity and the flex and everything. Obviously had to manufacture engine mounts, head stays. It gets all a bit close around here, so we've had to use a clevis mounted spring on there, and this is a factory RMZ 450 swing arm axle, so we can get the thing to adjust the pedal to the right height. The thing's trick, the fully rebuilt motor, it's ready to go. It's a really good engine. I was around Suzuki in 05 when they were going to stop making the RM250. So the engineer said just put everything on the 06, so they didn't hold anything back. So the 06 is basically a factory engine. So there's that, we've rebuilt it. It's got the special, it's got a few factory parts in it. It's a nice thing. JSV provided the pipe silencer. We do modify the frame and the subframe, so it will take the standard pipe and silencer. So if you rode this to smash the pipe, you could buy an RM250 pipe and it would fit straight on. So there's that. It's got a Hinson clutch in it. Delta Force reed blocks, I believe. The chassis is all factory RMZ. It's crazy. From the tie foot pegs, hangers, linkage, the magnesium hubs, the works colour, yellow gold rims, even got works Dunlop tyres on. Works triple clamps with the factory stops, 23.5mm offset. Even got factory handlebars, which are, the cross brace is even recessed with titanium bolts in. They're really cool. We had to modify the rads, the bottom of the tank for the fuel tap. There's a lot going on. The front of the airbox was basically reconstructed with a sheet of alley to position the air boot, but it runs a stock air boot, so your critical airbox volume remains the same, so the thing will run how it should do. Engineers over here. Where's my coffee anyway? I thought you wanted me to come in. No. So this one is a 250, so it runs the KYB 3 adjuster compression stack. Very trick. We rebuilt that one because the work shocks I've got, and I've got about 5 of them, don't fit this chassis, which is a heartbreaker, and I wasn't about to start cutting the frame. So that's the shock. The forks are really cool. I'll show you them in a minute because we're looking at the back end. Sorry. Magnesium rear brake carrier, factory caliper, even got the gold piston with the little air holes to get rid of the heat. Like I say, mag foot pegs, mag hangers, factory rear mass cylinder with a slightly bigger piston. JSV silencer, works magnesium hubs, standard size discs, but works edition slightly thinner. Even got the what kind of brand is that anyway? It's Tag sprocket that the race team used in America, so that's really on point. Works Dunlop tyres. Even got a factory chain on it. I mean, believe it or not, the stress that goes through a chain in a supercross section with a good guy on it, you can't get your head around. So we've got some factory chains, and to be honest, you could run that chain for a year and never adjust it. It's mental. Once they get bedded in, you ain't moving it. But they were made for James Stewart, and if he can go through the loops and not break a chain, all right for me. So the forks on this were hard work. I'm not going to lie, they were really hard work. I'll show you the front brake in a minute, and that's my favourite part about this bike, believe it or not. But the triple clamps work Suzuki, and the amount of time they were testing with RC and Ivan with the radiuses, top and bottom on the clamps, you wouldn't believe that a square edge or a radius makes all that difference, but they got through so many before they got to the right setting. So they're a good offset. These fork tubes are James Stewart 2013 era 49mm works colour, never been seen before or since, if I'm honest. 49mm black nitrate tubes, billet fork feet, and then obviously the cool bars, standard plastics. I went standard colourway, didn't go any graphics on it, because to be honest, whenever you see a Suzuki with like graphics all over it, it kind of loses that new shape look. I like this really stock looking, and it reminds me of when we used to test the factory bikes, because when you test them, there's no stickers on them. So it was a full works bike with no stickers on, just looked ever so cool. So let me show you the front brake now. So the forks are really cool. There were 49mm SFF single fork function. So it's got the spring. These are on the crossover from when they went to spring to air. We've got some really cool air forks, but who likes those things? Fucking crap, aren't they? So we've gone for the single side spring, say black titanium nitrate fork tubes, but now radial mounted front disc. Now, I have never seen one of those. Nobody's ever seen one of those. This was a prototype that Suzuki guys tested with factory shower. Reportedly, the riders who rode it didn't like it because the front wheel spanned too freely, which sounds like a good thing, but I guess when you've grown up with it with a bit of drag, it's the way you jump and the way you land it, and you know, timing sections, whatever. So it never made it past testing. Never made it to the race team. It's just uber cool. Factory Nissan caliper, all machined out, 4-pot. Like I say, it doesn't float. It spins nice. A 270 floating front disc. I've never seen one before or since, so I'm pretty chuffed with that. I don't know if I ever want to sell it. So the big question is, does it run? Who knows? Should do. It's all plumbed in. So I say we take it outside and see if it goes.
You son?
I'm always ready. Yeah, that's better.
What a brake that is. Oh yeah, it's hardly working, this disc, look.
Oh, it's hardly working, but it's stopping. Imagine when it comes in, Joe.
Oh no.
It should be up. Oh wow, that sounds better.
So the fuel tap to replace the fuel pump is not hard, but you've got to think about it. So the fuel pump fits in the bottom of this aluminium tank, great big hole with an O-ring. So we decided, so we don't get too much flex, we use an 8mm thick plate to blank it off. Believe it or not, that is not a hexagon. It looks it, doesn't it? 5-sided. Is that 5-sided hexagon? There you go. I was listening at school. It's a really odd shape, so we had to 3D print one. It's a really strange thing. So then, to attach the tap, you don't want to drill through that plate, because then the thread would go into the fuel and then potentially you'd have leakage through the bolts. So then we have to weld another plate, which is tapped for the bolts, to that plate, drill through both of them, so the threads only go into this plate. Problem being is then, once you've welded it, you get distortion, heat, localized heat. Nobody likes that. So then you'd have to go back on the milling machine, be set absolutely flat to zero, then sent off for anodizing, then bolted on. We always use safety wire on any fuel or oil or brake lines as possible. And so we safety wired it just to look pretty, made it black so it doesn't stand out too much. And I'm quite happy with the way it turns out. It looks pretty cool. So it's really important for the electrics and all the gubbins, all the workings to be done nicely. There's no point in spending all this time and money on a bike and having it just like, I've seen some horrendous stuff. But anyway, so the electrics are in there. They follow the frame loop around nicely. There's so much more electrics on an RMZ 250 than there is on an RM250 two-stroke, but most of it sits in this space above the airbox and the shock. But unfortunately, the wiring loom on the RMZ doesn't allow you to do that. So we've repositioned the ECU, which is a programmable ECU, to the inside of this frame spar. The only thing we had to extend was the wire for the map switch. Apart from that, we just basically take the wiring loom apart, all the tape off it, put it where we want, then retape it all back up again. So it looks like it's supposed to be in there. The coil, standard RM250 coil, we just made like the one bracket to make it work nicely. It all fits in there quite nicely. The rads are a bit of work. Not so much on the top, the balance pipe on the top and the feed from the head to the top of the left-hand radiator is no big deal. You need a balance pipe on an RM250. So what we do is we run the RM250 pipe work into an RMZ radiator. So the radiators fit the frame and the engine gets the cooling it needs. So the bottom we had to modify. You can see there's a blanking plug there. We had to reposition the bottom feed into the water pump, T-piece it off for the balance pipe. Here, this is the one piece I wasn't really happy with because it goes up and down, but there was nothing else we could do. So it looks all right in the end. And when you take the tank off, you're not horrified by a Frankenstein looking thing. So part of the engine mounting system is the head stays. Head stays is really important. It's all about flex. It's all about the way the bike handles and everything. So we welded a big lug to the main cross member of the frame and manufactured some head stays from 6mm alley plate, I believe it was. Machined them up on the milling machine, got them anodized. Another thing that's really important is the cables don't attach to anything underneath there. They have to be loose. If they touch anything, when you turn the bars, it can all bind up, but that's just basic stuff, nothing to do with an AF. So we're really chuffed with the way it came out. We're going to go and test it now. We're going to do a collaboration with 999 Laser. They've got a brand new stock RM, so we're going to go and test it back to back against that, because we believe if Suzuki were still racing two strokes, this is what it would look like. So that's it for the build on the RM AF. We'll go out and ride it. We'll tell you what it's like. Thanks for watching everything. We really appreciate it, especially like and subscribe. Apparently that makes a big difference, according to Danny. But like and subscribe. Now we're done with the events, we can crack on with some special builds. I've got some really nice stuff to show you. And we're trying to get through. We had a 3-year wait list on builds and we're trying to get that down. It was mental for a while, but now we're getting there. So thanks for watching and tune in and I'll show you some other cool stuff.